coming to you from the air-conditioned market stand on the hottest week of the year. So thankful that Ryan, my husband, saw the vision to build me this amazing market stand so I can pack your orders in the comfort of the air conditioning on 100-degree plus days. So we are truly getting into summer crops, and let's see what we've got. First off, we've got our tomatoes. You guys have 1.5 pounds of slicing tomatoes. These can be red, some of them are pink, and some may even be orange or yellow. What you're gonna do is really, I just feel them for ripeness. Sometimes you'll be able to tell on the top if they're not all the way orange. When I do pack, you'll see this one's like a little lighter in the top and firm. So I try to pack some more ripe and some less ripe so you can eat them throughout the week in each of your bags. So just make sure you check that out before you start slicing into that tomato. Along with the big slicer tomatoes, we do have a bag or a little box of cherry tomatoes. So you'll have those in there, all different colors. We've got some striped ones in there, which are amazing. I just had some kids that left and they, I think, had eaten over half their bag before they even left our market stand. We have peppers coming in. So you'll get, these are our Italian peppers. So they are sweet peppers. Even though they don't look like our traditional bell pepper or colored bell pepper, they're gonna be sweet peppers. I actually like them. I feel like they're easier to cut up than a bell pepper. There's not just so much weird maneuvering around that seed head. So you've got a green pepper, and I think everyone's got yellow peppers this week. Both sweet peppers, no spicy peppers in this Farmshare. We've got cucumbers. Based on the flow of other items. So I'm dripping in eggplant, shishito peppers, and green beans. So based on the flow of those coming in, you may or may not have double of cucumbers or zucchini this week. So I'm just trying to modify and keep track so everyone gets a little bit of all the Farm's Bounty on some of those items that don't come in at 25 servings per week for me to fulfill all the Farmshare. So we have zucchinis and squashes. These are both squash. There's a couple different varieties. The full green ones are zucchini. Aren't these so cool? They kind of fade from green to yellow. I have a recipe that we did this week that one of my farm customers told me about. You cook the zucchini. I sauteed that in some lard. I let that simmer. And then I went in and added some seasoning. So if you have any fresh herbs left over or just Italian seasoning, you can add that in. And then I added a layer of tomatoes. I just sliced up some slicing tomatoes, laid that in, let it simmer but didn't stir them, kind of layered it on like a casserole. And then the next layer, I did season that with some garlic salt. Then the next layer I did mozzarella cheese, and then I took our fresh basil and chopped that up on top and let the cheese melt. And that was amazing. It was so good left over. She called it zucchini casserole. And it was a hit for our family. We even took it to a potluck. So it was really good. So we've got your basil, we've got opal basil and green basil. Both of the, or none of the basil has been refrigerated yet. So I just store it on the counter in a little glass jar, cup, or vase in a little water, and change that water every few days, and this will stay fresh. Easy to use. If you don't know how to use herbs, stick some in your water. I actually have a big jar of water, and I added some strawberries to let those infuse, and then just a couple pieces of basil and just kind of tore it up just a little bit and let that infuse. So also really good with like watermelon or pineapple in your water. Basil is so amazing. It's one of my favorite infusions for water. We've got garlic. This week I used the basil, the tomatoes, and the garlic and made a homemade bruschetta. I put that on top of some chicken. I put it on top of a piece of sourdough, and the leftovers I took the next morning and put it actually in an egg wrap. So my husband had made a breakfast wrap, and I put that bruschetta in there, and it just, it really made that my breakfast that morning. We have some white onions, which have been amazing. So if you make salsa, you've got your onions, your tomatoes are there, your garlic. We have a tote of greens. In this week's greens, we have lettuce, kale, spinach, and Swiss chard. You'll find all of those in your tote. We did a small tote lettuce is really difficult to grow in the summer, but we do have some ways to help us grow that with shade cloth and our overhead watering system. So I do a smaller tote while it's not coming in as abundantly to make sure everybody gets some. And these are more squash. And then the last thing we have is your beets. We have red beets, bull's blood, we have the golden beets, and then we have the lighter ones here, which are Chioggia. We had a summer camp last week. I sliced the beets thin on the mandolin, gave the kids a little cup of our honey harvest dressing, and every one of those kids snacked down on those beets and didn't even, not a single one of them said, I don't like that, I don't want this is yucky. They loved it. The color inside is so vibrant and amazing when you do cut it raw. And I think that, we associate that cool looking plant to some really good flavors, and then dipped in that honey harvest dressing. They couldn't pass it up. Multiple kids actually brought their parents up to my market stand and asked for, Mom, buy me beets to take home. So that is this week's Farm Share. I will post the picture on Facebook and you can share any of your recipes. I will see if I can type up the recipe in a photo of the zucchini casserole and put that on there. I'll put on the bruschetta recipe that we've made and the family loves, and then maybe even a homemade salsa recipe for you guys there. So enjoy, take care, enjoy, stay cool. Bye guys.